goes a little something like.
Hello, Literates. I'm Britt Ryderly, and welcome back to Writer's Ambition. For those of you who've been hanging in since episode 1, use the real one. And for those of you who are just finding my humble channel, welcome. We hope you stay a while. Okay, so I missed y'all last month. And the truth is, June ran over me. I was a pushover for June. And to be honest, I almost let July do me the same kind of way, but your girl's got to learn her lessons. So here we are. Here we are in July for our HonesTEA vlog. It's usually in my regular schedule. It's on the 3rd Tuesday, but like I said, I almost let July do the same thing. So here we are, even if not our usually scheduled time, but anything goes in summer schedule, which is how it should be for everyone. So a few announcements before I get started. This is my HonesTEA vlog that's coming to y'all in July, barely. But this is going to be an HonesTEA vlog that covers June, July, and August. I'm probably not going to do a writing vlog, an HonesTEA vlog in August because you're already getting 3 videos from me, even with the summer schedule, because that's just how things aligned. So the first video you're going to get is actually a live with me, KaShay at ShayWithThaHobbies, and Bree from Loc'd Booktician. That is, well, no, KaShay's not on AuthorTube anymore. She's on CreatorTube. But so that is a CreatorTuber and a BookTuber and I having a discussion about RESPECT, Black labor. So that is going to be on my channel at 8 Eastern Standard Time on Monday, August 2nd. So that's Monday, August 2nd. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on my channel with those 2 lovely ladies. Don't miss the conversation. It's gonna be good. Okay, that's the first video. And then the second video is my AuthorTube anniversary. Couldn't let that ride. So that video is gonna drop Wednesday, August 18th. I released my BookTube anniversary tag Wednesday, July 7th. Yeah, Wednesday, July 7th. And they're not the same day because I literally got on this platform and forgot that I wanted to do a book in AuthorTube. And so I did my BookTube newbie tag and then just sort of forgot about the AuthorTube one until a month later. So that's why they're 2 separate anniversaries as far as content is concerned. So that's dropping Wednesday, August 18th. And then KaShay and I are going to have our August writerly conversation. And that's going to drop on the last Tuesday of August. So I'm spacing it out for y'all. Y'all are getting a lot from me and I'm spacing it out. So please eat well and fare sumptuously in August. And also be aware that writerly conversation, that date may change. I'll see. But I'm thinking it's going to be the last Tuesday, but it could also be the 2nd Tuesday. So either way, this is a perfect opportunity to say if you have not smashed that like button, smash that like button. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a single thing. Thank you. Okay, so those are the 2 announcements, right? Those are, yeah, 3. 3 announcements are the 3 videos. August 2nd, August 18th, and then August, right? So don't miss that. The final announcement is your girl got a new mug. Your girl got a new mug. She's bigger than all the others, and we love that because, you know, more tea for me. So this HonesTEA vlog, let's just get right into it. So this is going to be an HonesTEA vlog for 3 months. Remember, that's part of the announcement. This is going to be for June, July, and August because I have so many videos dropping in August and we're on a summer schedule. So I'm not going to make myself do another video in August when honestly this one is already stretches the middle of my day. And I should be doing something else right now, but let's not talk about it. I'm drinking black tea, by the way. This Kenyan black tea that I tried, I think, in my May video. Yeah, I'm still on it. You know me, creature of habit. Once I find something, I hold on to it. There's a message in there for somebody. Okay, so May HonesTEA. Number 1. Just going over like what my goals were before, and then seeing like, did you do that in June, even though June got away from you? Whether or not I did, you're not going to judge me. Let's just start there. Okay, so my May HonesTEA goals. Number 1, finish part 1 of #FirstFantasy. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am a early career writer, unpublished, want to be in traditional publishing. I'm working on a couple of manuscripts right now, but the one I'm working on currently is a young adult fantasy. I submitted it to a revisions workshop that We Need Diverse Books was having, and I got into that in April. It's a 6-month revisions workshop. That's partly why I'm on a summer schedule, because it's a lot of work. And so I'm working on my YA fantasy, which I call #FirstFantasy. Okay, you're caught up now. So the main HonesTEA goals was to, number 1, finish part 1 of #FirstFantasy, to 2, work on actually writing out the new outline for #FirstFantasy, because I was changing the structure a little bit, and then the final one was to get to know my new CPs and their works better. I did all of those things. I slow clapped myself. I did all of those things. So, okay. HonesTEA for June, even though you didn't see your girl was working. I did 2 major things in June, and that is, 1, I finished part 2 of #FirstFantasy. That's right, part 2 of #FirstFantasy. And then the second thing is I plotted the rest of the revision. And I did that by doing something a little major, a little drastic. I cut 30,000 words from the manuscript. The entire part 3, I cut it. Well, no. No, yeah, basically.
In court today, you said you're not here to pretend to be remorseful.
Of course not. Why would I do that?
Are you remorseful?
Not at all.
Why?
Why would I be?
Well,
I cut 30,000 words. Let me tell you the funny story, and then there will be a message in there for somebody. Please hold for tea. And hydrate yourself if you have not been. So I was working on plotting the rest of the manuscript, but here's the thing. The part 1 that I was trying to finish in May, that was a complete addition to the story, because when I submitted the manuscript to the workshop, all the manuscript submissions had to be finished already. So the manuscript was complete as it was. I then decided that I needed to do more world building, which is what I'm in the workshop to work on. And so I wrote an entirely new part 1 of the manuscript, starting in the second world rather than an our world, to give myself more time to flesh that world out, so that everything that was going to be happening in part 2 had a bit of dramatic irony for the reader, and the reader would be able to better understand clues that the characters were seeing. Even if the characters were super duper confused, the reader wasn't ever like super duper thrown, as opposed to like, we have questions about what this means, with this sort of background knowledge of all the implications that this has for the second world, right? So I had to write part 1. That's what that was the goal for May. When I wrote part 1, it came in at about 22,000 words, which put my manuscript that had previously been at 98K at like 118, 120, something like that, right? Publishing is more math than I ever knew and ever care to discuss at length. But just know that for the category conventions and the genre conventions of a young adult fantasy, 122,000 words is too much. Especially for like an unpublished, like a debut author. Like if an agent sees that, they might think that your story has some problems to fix if it's that long. Now, exceptions for everything, because Children of Blood and Bones is 135K. And even though it wasn't my cup of tea, I DNF'd very early in that book. I'm a mood reader. I was not in the mood. People that have read Children of Blood and Bones said that it read really, really quickly and did not seem like 135K, but it was. And typically, an agent reading a query letter is gonna like flag that your manuscript is too long if it's a bunch over 110, really. And 110 is the longer side, and within that, agents have their own preferences, of course. But like for me, I never wanted my story to be that big anyway. I wanted it to be under 100K. And so when I wrote that part 1 and added it, and I was like, everything makes sense now. And then I looked at the word count and I was like, but I can't keep it all. And your girl was like, I don't want this life anymore. But then I bucked up because I had to get it, girl. And so I decided, after a lot of trying to cut things out in the middle and realizing that I was cutting out a lot of characterization, a lot of really great banter that betas and critique partners have said that they had liked. And I realized as I was reading through that I cut a lot of scenes that I really loved and that readers had loved. And so I decided to put those back and cut out chunks of the story, and not cut out chunks, just remind myself that this is not a standalone story. And I have 6 characters, like characters of great weight in the story. And it's kind of just impossible unless I'm going to pull like a Lord of the Rings, like Tolkien sort of long epic fantasy, which I'm not trying to do. Unless I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to cut some things and leave them for book 2 or even book 3 or book 4, whatever, right? And so it was actually one of my critique partners who reminded me that I can leave some things until later in the series. And that's the importance of having good CPs. Shameless plug, that is the writerly conversation that KaShay and I are doing in the month of August, is the importance of good critique partners. So all my writer subs out there, definitely tune in for that once again if you have not already smashed that notification bell. Okay, so after my wonderful critique partner reminded me that I could not try to stuff everything into one story, I cut 30,000 words because I was like, you're so right, where's my axe? So I axed 30,000 words from the story, and some of the things will, like a lot of it will move back into book 2, and others are gone for good. Hydrate. So that happened, and I said that to say, don't be afraid to do something like that. Number one, because I have a scrap book. So I have a file on my computer called scrapbook _ everything that hashtag First Fantasy has ever been. And every single thing that it's ever been, every scene, every arc, like all of it lives in that document. So nothing's ever gone for good. So I don't have heart palpitations about cutting things because I know that I can access it again if I want to. And I often do like go through and like pull even like a quick exchange of dialogue that I'm like, ooh, that can actually come back and go here, right? So like it wasn't that huge of a deal to take. It was more like taking it out of this version as opposed to like flushing it down the toilet. Don't be afraid to move things to the scrapbook if you need to, if it'll make the story lighter, make the story flow better, give your readers a better paced story and time to catch their breath, and also to be realistic. The things that I was saying were gonna be at the beginning of the story would not be resolved by the end, and trying to make it all be resolved in one story just because in publishing they encourage you to write your first book as a standalone, even if you know it's a series, that's not a good reason to produce an unwieldy story for that. That's just unpublished writer, early career writer checking in here, but I'm just saying I can think right now of several debuts that do they have like huge cliffhangers? I wouldn't call it a cliffhanger, but I would definitely call it a thread that's pointing directly to another story. I'm thinking of Wings of Ebony by Elle. I'm thinking of A Song of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. I'm thinking of the Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. I'm thinking of Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. Like all of those really great New York Times bestsellers, right? All those books that we ate up and asked for more immediately, that story was not resolved all in one. So people say that, but like, do what your story needs you to do, and then figure out the rest with critique partners and agents and editors. Like write your story first. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I cut 30K. That's your message for the day. Pass the collection plate. Okay, so that was June. June was back, and that's why you missed me in June, and June ran over me because I was like this until I found deliverance in my mountaintop. So that is that. July goals. My goals for July are to finish part 3 of hashtag First Fantasy. Well on my way. It is now July 22nd. And so I have like 30 more pages, and I am right now working on the last chapter that will need significant rewriting. the last chapter is pretty much going to be able to stay the same. Like the point where I cut it, that's kind of where it's going to end. So I don't really have to rewrite anything. I just need to like tie it off. So I think I'll be able to achieve that goal. Prayers up for you, girl. And then the final goal, I only have 2 goals for July because finishing part 3 is a beast. So finish part 3, goal number 1, and goal number 2 is to begin rereading my manuscript and scene plotting. So in this We Need Diverse Books revisions workshop that I am in, we have faculty that come every month and give us a sort of lecture about different parts of revision and writing a story. And Karen Strong came in June. I think it was June, or maybe it was very early in July. I don't remember. Please don't hold me. So she talked about this thing called scene plotting, I believe it's called. I think that it is. And basically, it's a reverse outline, but for novels. So a reverse outline, if you're talking about like an academic paper, is when you make an outline from your paper based off of what is, not what your original pre-writing outline said you were going to do. So a pre-writing outline, wow, we're doing a lot of a lot of writing lessons today. A pre-writing outline is hypothetical. It says what you plan on doing. And then, of course, the first casualty of war is the plan. You write the paper, and sometimes it's exactly like the outline, and sometimes it's completely different, and sometimes there's just a few changes. A revision outline, hear me, we're talking about academic writing right now. A revision outline will say, okay, in the intro, I introduce X, X, and X. I bring up this, and this, and my thesis is this. Body paragraph 1 talks about this, this, and this. I make this argument. Body paragraph 2, and you go all the way through. And by the end of it, you have a bird's eye view of your paper, and it will help you to see if you need to move something around, if there are jumps in argumentation, etc., etc., etc. It's a revision tool. A reverse outline is a revision tool for academic writing. Scene plotting is basically reverse outline for novels. And I had been thinking before, because I work in a writing center, and thinking about the reverse outline, which I do with a lot of my clients at the writing center, and I recommend my students do when I'm teaching a class. I was like, oh, it's so useful, but it's just not feasible to do that for a novel length project or even a novella length project. Like, it's not feasible to do for longer works. And it just doesn't fit also the style, the narrative style of storytelling. And so when Karen Strong brought up scene plotting, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually a game changer. This is actually a game changer for real. By the way, Karen Strong is the author of middle grade fantasy Just South of Home, and she is in the process of editing a New Voice anthology. There's a call for unpublished, unagented writers, I believe. I don't know if it's unagented, unpublished Black writers. I don't know. But check her Twitter because it's open until the end of September. So go, go, go. Check her Twitter. Okay, but that's who Karen Strong is. She's getting a lot of recognition in the writing world. She deserves it. She's awesome. But so this is the woman who is giving, woman and the writer, who's giving us this advice about scene plotting. She didn't invent this, I don't think, but yeah, I'm pretty sure she didn't invent this. But just saying that I got it from her just to be citational. Amen. So scene plotting basically has you go through the entire manuscript. You're reading it from top to bottom and saying, okay, in chapter 1, these characters are, if it's this character's POV, first of all, if you have a first person narrative, it's this person's POV. These are the characters that are in the story. Or in this chapter, these are the characters that are mentioned in the chapter. These are the places where they are. These are the places that are mentioned. The characters at this point in their character arc. These are the themes of the arc, of the character, their arc or whatever, that are mentioned, right? So it's really, really exhaustive and gives you a breakdown of everything that you need to know about every point of your story, which will help you when you want to go back and do targeted revisions to see if I'm trying to do a revision on Aaron, who is one of my characters. I only need to go back to the chapters where Aaron is, where either she is or she's mentioned, if I want to like work on how other people perceive her, right? So that will help you to just do targeted revision. It's been helping me to just think about and see, is there development in the character arc or is it stagnant for 5 chapters? So anyway, I want to finish that. Or no, I want to begin that. in July. And I already have. If I can get a little bit farther by the end of the month, I will. But my priority is honestly finishing part 3. Okay, so many lessons. Wasn't expecting it. Lesson number 5086, hydrate. Okay, and finally, August goals. So my goals for August are number 1, to finish the scene plotter. And then number 2, to tuck all the threads. That is anything that I find in the scene plotter that's like, oh, I mentioned this character once and never again, or hey, Aaron is not developing, or Aaron mentioned something and it never actually happens. Like tucking all those little threads, making sure there's consistency and on the level of plot, of narrative, of voice, of style, all the things, tucking all the threads, and really try to finish it for the final submission, which is September 30th. And then the final goal is to finish my critique partner's manuscripts. So August, I want a lot out of August, and I'm prepared for that to sort of bleed into September. And if it does, I'm okay with it. I really just want to focus on tucking threads and finishing the story plotter. Also, I have to finish my critique partner's manuscript. So all these things are very necessary, but they're also very full, and I'm prepared for the scene plotter and the threads to bleed into September. Finishing my critique partner's manuscripts, that will happen on time no matter what. But that's my writerly life right now. If you have made it this far in the video, please comment new mug, new me, because that's just where it is right now. And thank y'all so much for watching. I know that it was like a lot because we did 3 months and y'all hung in like champs. I've also spent 20 minutes on 1 month, so that's just me. I can fill any amount of time that you give me. But I hope that really some of the things that I talked about in my journey were helpful for you. If there are any other like early career writers out there who are working on revisions and are like feel like you're under the revision, which I definitely did when I applied to this workshop, and it's really been helping. So definitely remember the scene plotter. Definitely remember cutting what needs to be cut for the sake of the story. Get you a scrapbook. Like, all these things have helped me significantly, and I hope that they've helped you as well. For the final time, hydrate with me. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your words, and bye-bye.